We were pretty famous back in high school. Trust us!
Had a whole future ahead of us, but now we suck.
All that potential now is flowing in the aqueducts.
Through the sands of time, many did forget.
But now our time has come to resurrect. But a podcast?
Sad I know, but can you blame us?
We are desperate to be much more than high school famous. Hello, everyone. Welcome to High School Famous, a podcast that stands by its opinion that Dr. Frankenstein is the world's most famous bodybuilder. I am Sean.
I'm Matt.
Good.
That goes right along there's a joke of like Dr. Frankenstein entered a bodybuilding competition and realized he really got got it wrong. But yeah.
Well, I didn't know that, so I thought I had made that up entirely. Well, I did, but I didn't know that someone else had already made a Frankenstein bodybuilding joke.
It's that same thing of, I mean, if you think of it, somebody else has probably already thought of it.
Granted, there's been plenty of time for someone else to come up with that before me, so I'm not surprised. But I will not say that I stole that joke because I had never heard of it before.
If you were unaware, you were unaware.
Yep. If I ain't seen it, it's new to me, they say. What is happening today, Matt? What are you doing?
I was just writing something down. Nothing. It's Friday.
It's Friday night.
Way earlier than usual.
Yep. A day or two.
Yeah, I guess it's not way earlier. I think we've definitely proven that we've recorded episodes much, much earlier than a few days.
Hey, next week we're going to record on Wednesday.
Yeah, we're going to record even earlier.
OMG. The G stands for God.
Yeah.
That's what G always stands for in my eyes.
And the O stands for O.
Oh. Yep. And M. M stands for Mr. Oh, Mr. God.
Oh, Mr. God.
Oh, Mr. God. Please
listen to my prayers.
Please have mercy on my family. Please rid the world of sickness and hunger.
I thought you were going to say, of my family.
Please kill Max. Please kill Max's last name. He is a jerk.
Just leave it at Max.
Yeah, well.
Let God decide which Max.
Yeah, he should be doing that already anyway.
He'll know. He should already know.
He knows.
He's all powerful.
The thing is, you shouldn't even have to ask God for anything because God
he
already know what you want and don't want.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So praying is he's like, oh God, yeah, I know. Yep. I'm working on it. It's on the list.
We're just flooding his inbox
every week
with spam.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a lot that
the prayers go to his spam folder. Everything else goes to his regular folder. He's already he's looking through his regular folder. He's seeing all the things we want.
Right.
And then we start dumping extra onto him, and that's just going straight to the spam folder.
It's overwhelming for him.
He's going to have to get some extra Google storage.
I know. He's getting notified that his storage is almost full.
Yeah.
And rather than being able to manage his storage by deleting large files he doesn't need, he's just going to be brought to a page that shows him all the tiers of options of ways he can purchase more storage. And he's like, I'm God, damn it.
I see what you did there.
You do see that, yeah.
I more so heard what you did there.
You saw me say it too, unless you weren't looking at me.
I was not at that moment looking directly at you. No,
you are a loud person. I don't know why.
I'm talking at normal volume.
Stop doing that though.
Stop doing what?
I'm like you're very loud. You're like I'm talking at normal volume. I'm talking at normal volume.
That is my normal. I am literally not yelling at you.
You're hurting my ears. I already turned you down a little bit, and you're hurting my ears. I
don't know what to tell you. This is literally the same volume I've always talked to you at, and also I have not messed with any of my settings ever since this setup.
Right, but just there, you weren't ear-piercingly loud when you were just explaining that.
Because you just said you turned me down.
No, before that, I had already turned you down.
Stop turning me down.
Stop. Just give up. No means no.
Allow my advances to push through.
Push through what?
Stop your walls that you keep putting up.
Yeah, well, quit
your metaphorical walls.
Quit knocking down my walls with your advances. Your blunt, stiff advances.
Piercing. Blunt yet piercing.
Your blunt, stiff piercing. You have a blunt, stiff piercing. Where is it?
I might.
Where is it?
I'm not going to show you.
No,
I mean, you're not
I didn't
asking
ask you to show me. I didn't ask that. I
just asking me to tell you.
I just wanted you to say where it was.
But that's how I show. That's how I tell people is by showing them.
You're a visual teacher?
It's a show and tell situation, not a show or tell.
I see.
It's always show and tell.
It's a tell by show.
Mm-hmm.
Matt plays tell by show.
Yeah.
Yeah. No matter what the subject. And sometimes it gets uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it gets real comfortable.
Yeah, no matter what people ask me to show them, I always just show them my penis.
And
every time.
And what does that tell them?
That I am definitely on some sort of government list.
Yep.
It's a watch list.
So I just pressed that button on my thing again. Should we start over?
Mm-hmm. Like you haven't been recorded this whole time?
I don't know. The little 48V button?
Fucking hell, Sean.
I mean, we didn't do much already.
There was some stuff in there. There was some stuff.
Well, sorry. I just
that
looked.
I'm happy with.
I just looked, and it's not there.
All right. So here's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to stop this for a second, and I'm going to check to see if you're there. And if you are there, I'm going to scold you thoroughly when I hit record again.
And
if you're not there, I'm still going to scold you thoroughly.
I'll make sure that I press that again so it turns the mic off when you're scolding me, so no one can hear my pitiful reactions.
Screams,
my screams, and my begging and pleading for you to stop.
All right, I'm going to stop for a second. You fuck.
Hold on. I have to turn myself off so they can't hear.
Don't.
Well, we already know that that's not going to do anything
Don't
anyway.
Mess with it. All right. So, everybody, I don't even have to really say anything because everybody will realize at this point that, yes, we got everything.
But this makes me wonder. There was that one clip that I had pulled where it was silent at the beginning. So what caused that? If this didn't cause the same problem.
Well, and that's what's weird to me is because I could hear you in that recording.
That's how you say,
like
I just don't
heard.
know.
Obviously, nobody else knows anything you said during that, but I heard everything you were saying during that. So your audio was coming through for me, but why it didn't record it, I have no idea on that previous episode.
Who knows?
Crisis averted. There was so much good content in those first 7 minutes that it would have been very tragic to lose that.
Jesus, crisis averted.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that reinvigorates me. I definitely am energized now. Yeah. So I decided, I don't know how entertaining this is going to be. My notes are kind of all over the place, but I watched a movie that came out in 1985.
Oh, yeah.
Written and directed by a fella named John Hughes. And it's involving a group of students in high school that are forced to attend a 9-hour detention session on a Saturday for getting into trouble at school.
Right.
And from what I discovered while watching the movie, for no reason whatsoever other than the last line in the movie, it is called The Breakfast Club.
Right.
And I don't know why it's called The Breakfast Club.
Because they coined that at the end, that they called themselves that.
They did?
Yeah. He signed the letter that he wrote. So what was happening at the end is the thing that was being said was a letter that I think Michael C. Hall's character had written, and he signed it The Breakfast Club.
Exactly.
He coined them as The Breakfast Club.
Right. But that's the only time it wasn't discussed beforehand. So it's not like the group
off camera.
I gotcha. So at some point the group just decided to these groups of people that all hate each other and are very different decide to name their little group off camera.
That or he just decided to coin them that.
So if he decided, that's what I thought. I thought he just wrote this paper and decided to give the group a name without discussing it with any other members of the group. And he called them the Breakfast Club, which the only meal they consume during the movie in detention is lunch.
Right.
Why are they called Breakfast Club? It doesn't make any sense.
Sounds cooler than the lunch club.
Lunch
or
bunch.
The detention club.
They could call themselves Lunch Bunch.
That would be way dumber title of a movie, The Lunch Bunch.
Right, but it would make... Breakfast Club is a dumb title for a movie.
I don't know. It's more interesting than
It would make
brunch
sense if
bunch.
they were a group of friends that every week met for breakfast and did whatever, discussed whatever was going on over breakfast.
For a short period of time while I was still in Minnesota. Sorry, this is a small tangent, but we had a group of people that would get together once a month and go to brunch, and we called ourselves the Brunch Fist Club. Carry on with the movie.
It's no wonder you got chased out of Minnesota.
Chased out?
So this movie, I was trying to figure out what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
I think ultimately it's about a bunch of different people that don't like each other for basically no real reason. All discover that they're all the same, kind of. Right? That's kind of what it's sort of.
Yeah, they all
at.
have similarities. It's a coming of age movie, and
they've all got their walls,
quirks.
their quirks, but they've all got they all discover that none of them have a perfect life, or none of them are better.
Yeah,
they all have their own
basically,
issues, and they're all relatable.
Yeah, each
and blah,
person
blah, blah.
looks at one person like, oh, you've got it this way and that way, and then you find out like, oh no, like actually, like the jock kid, oh, you got it so great, you're blah blah blah, but then you find out, he's got a lot of pressure from his family to be great, and
right,
so.
Because it started off by presenting itself where it's going to be, it's the authority figure versus the rambunctious teens.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole antagonist of the movie was supposed to be that dude. Was he the principal? I couldn't tell what he was.
Yeah, principal or like superintendent or something.
Yeah, but the guy who's like, mess with the bull, you get the horns.
Yeah.
Are you done? I'm going to give you another Saturday. You're going to be coming here instead of coming to prison, Bender. Like, he's this, like, very angry, I'm going to ruin your life. I'm, typical sort of 80s mentality where it's like, the angry teacher.
Typical 80s movie villain.
Yeah. So that very quickly went away, and his supervision just is all of a sudden non-existent, and they're just doing whatever they want in the school.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that part was weird because I was like, what are they up against here? Because it was starting off as this guy, and then he just decides to constantly wander around the school. Whatever he's going for in the school, he seems to take the longest route, and he seems to wander everywhere, and it takes him forever to get back. And then even when he is back, they're clearly being very vocal and loud and making a bunch of noise and doing whatever they want, and he's just not. He just stops coming out to check on them. So I don't know what he was. Mr. Hughes was going for by starting the movie off by introducing him as sort of like their opposition, like what they're up against.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but
it was a red herring.
It was a red herring. It was the Shyamalan twist before Shyamalan.
I mean, I think Shyamalan was around.
That'd be a fun dance, the Shyamalan twist.
We should invent that.
Someone already has.
I mean you.
Someone already has, because I thought of it. So someone else has already come up with it. So there was some funny things that, when the parents... the first thing. This was really bizarre to me. It goes through the opening credits, which is about 2 minutes and 13 seconds or so of opening credits. That's something that doesn't happen anymore with movies.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's this David Bowie quote that pops up on the screen.
Really?
Yeah, and it was something about those who attack these kids who are trying to change their world. I forget what it was. But the weird part was, it's a black screen with white text. It says a quote, then it says David Bowie, and then that just like shatters away, and there's a glass shattering sound, and it's slow motion, and then it shows the exterior of the high school. It was just a really weird, out of nowhere,
just edit choice
way to end the credits. Yeah, it was it surprised me, and I kind of laughed at it, and I rewound it and watched it again just because I was like trying to figure out if there was
my favorite part of the movie.
Well, I was trying to figure out. I rewound it to see the quote again to see if there was something significant in the quote that would relate it to breaking glass, but it didn't. I don't know what that was about. But there's another shattering thing later on in the movie that also doesn't make sense to me. That I'll bring
something else that actually shatters, or something that's shattering in the movie.
Something that actually shatters.
Okay,
and it's in the movie, so it's both, I guess.
Well, I thought you meant like shattering, as in like heartbreaking, or
sure. No, nothing like that. No, we're talking
emotionally
physical shattering of material. So come on, your connection is unstable. I'm so
you kind of chopped up for a minute there.
Yeah, I'm getting sick of this. Anyway, okay, blah 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 blah.
Your connection shattered.
My connection shattered. Yeah. in slow motion. So Claire, played by Molly Ringwald, is sitting in the car with her dad, and he's being very like comforting. But she says a weird thing. She says, "It's not like I don't know what we're doing here. It's not like we're defective or anything." And then the dad just counters it by saying, "Ditching class to go shopping doesn't make you a defective." And I'm like, she already said she wasn't a defective. Why are you reassuring her that what she did don't worry, you're not a defective by doing what you did. But she already said that she wasn't. So I don't know why he felt like he had to like, "Oh, no, honey, you're not a defective because you
It sounds like they're both robots.
Yeah.
And he's malfunctioning.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a defective.
He's a defective. Anthony Michael Hall's character's mom, I forget his character's name in the movie. Brian? Maybe Brian. But anyway.
That sounds right.
So he seems to be like
a name.
He sounds like a name that someone would have in life.
Yeah.
But he seems like a kid who typically follows the rules and does well in school.
Yeah, he's kind of the quote-unquote nerdy kid of the movie.
The square, right?
Yeah.
The Poindexter. So she's like, "Is this going to be your first time or your last time at detention?" And she's all like scolding him for breaking the rules and getting put in detention. And then she's like,
"Well, she should already know if it's his first time."
I know, but it was to say, "Are you going to do this again?
Are you going to do it more?" Yeah.
Or is this going to be your last time in detention? First time suggests there's more to follow. Last time suggests I'm not doing this again. But then she's like, "You better use this time wisely," suggesting that he get a lot of studying done during detention. Right. And he's like, "Well, we're not allowed. We're supposed to just sit there." And she's like, "Well, you better find a way, like as in you better break the rules and do what you're not supposed to during detention,
and potentially get more detention."
Right. So she just contradicted herself there, which
That'd
was
be funny though if you were in detention and then you broke the rules and studied, and then they gave you more detention for doing schoolwork.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess
also
I don't
think that's something they can do anymore. I don't think they can, and I don't know if they really did it that much, is make kids come to school on a Saturday for detention.
Right. That seemed a little bizarre too. And the one guy, the guy named Bender, who I looked up his real name, but I already forgot what it was, but he's getting called in. He's getting weekly detention sentences because he keeps mouthing off, and it's like this guy is just volunteering his every Saturday to be sitting in detention with this kid. He must love it, or I don't know.
Yeah.
And then you have Emilio Estevez's dad.
Mm-hmm.
He's also kind of goes against his own first line because he's like, "Oh, I screwed around when I was your age. Guys screw around. It's okay. Guys screw around." And then so he's being like comforting, like, "Hey,
yeah.
Guys just mess around. You did what all guys do." And Emilio Estevez is like, "Mom already gave me hell for this," or whatever. Like, "Mom already scolded me." Like, "Shut up, Dad." And then he's like,
"Stop praising me. Stop saying it's okay.
Right.
Mom already told me it was okay."
Right, but then after he says that, the dad quickly turns and yells at him about screwing up his chances for a wrestling scholarship. Like, "You gonna lose your ride?" Like, you're just saying like, "Hey, guys, screw around. That's what we do." And then
stop screwing around.
He immediately turns and says like, "Hey, you're gonna mess up your wrestling career by screwing around." So I don't know. It made me think that you could tell this movie was made by like a human being that's like imperfect and not like cranked out by some like studio machine that just like you could tell there's flaws in it.
Classic filmmaking.
Classic, yes.
The way it used to be.
The Quiet Girl, I don't think they showed her parents dropping her off, but I don't remember. I think the first time you see her
showed up.
I think the first time you see her, she just shows up and sits down in the back. And I honestly thought, obviously you discover the movie as you watch it, but I thought, is this really girl not going to talk the entire movie? Because I'm like, well, why is she even here if she's not going to say anything? But she was oddly, I typed jazzed. She was oddly jazzed about. First of all, I should ask: have you seen this movie?
Yes.
Okay.
I've already said several things about it.
I figured, but the stuff like the David Bowie quote at the beginning, you didn't seem like you knew anything about.
I mean,
so.
I definitely. This isn't one of the movies that's like deeply imprinted into my head, but I'm going to be able to follow along well enough. Yeah.
There's the part where she's doing a very good drawing on just a piece of paper because she's bored.
Right.
And then she starts scratching her head, and it looks like it's snowing on the picture. She's scratching a bunch of dandruff off her head, and she's like so excited about this.
One might say she's jazzed.
Jazzed, that's what I said. I said oddly jazzed.
Oddly jazzed.
Yeah, she's oddly jazzed. Yeah, I wish my notes were more concise. It's kind of everywhere.
What?
I said I wish my notes were a little more concise and they sort of like.
Oh, I thought you said nose.
Oh,
I was just completely thrown.
I wish my nose was more concise. No, because I almost wanted to try to watch the movie a second time because I should be like, okay, and then in this part of the movie, this is my comment, and then this next part, this is my comment. But I just type random things as I watch it, and then I don't tie them to parts of the movie. Which
is fine. We'll figure it out.
So during the movie, I noticed that Emilio Estevez's character is kind of strange because he's both very worried about missing his wrestling meet and like following the rules and doing what he's supposed to be doing so he doesn't get in trouble during detention because he doesn't want to miss his wrestling meet.
Right.
But he's also going to be someone who threatens to beat up and murder someone who isn't following the rules.
I mean, I guess I had a thought there, but no.
Oh, pleasant. Good thing you're adding to this. Blah, blah, blah. Why would they all follow? Yeah, this is going to be really sporadic. I don't know. I don't know if this is worth even like talking about.
No, let's keep going.
All right.
I'm oddly jazzed that
you're oddly
doing
jazzed
this right now.
Cool. So, where am I?
Murder.
This movie just went everywhere because the one guy, Bender, is just bugging the hell out of everybody. And he's just pissing everybody off because he's causing a ruckus and everybody else is worried about getting in trouble and they want him to just shut up and leave them alone. He's A, annoying, and B, threatening to get them all into more trouble because he won't just knock it off.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a point where Bender's going to go to his locker to get some weed and they all just go with him. Like if they truly were worried about getting into trouble, they would have let him just go and they all would have stayed where they're supposed to. So so the guy knows this guy's doing what he's not supposed to be. We're all being good, but they all just go with them.
It's like a pack mentality thing of like, if one gets in trouble, we all get in trouble.
Yeah, but they're not vocalizing like they're not during the whole movie. They're not like vocalizing that mentality. They're vocalizing the opposite mentality by saying,
and then doing their actions are the opposite of what they're vocalizing.
Exactly. So I had such trouble watching this movie because they all say one thing and then they just do the opposite. So how am I
from the opening car scene?
Yeah, exactly.
Contradiction left and right.
The parents did it too. So I was like, I couldn't figure out what it seems like they had an idea of what they wanted their characters to be like, and then they just when it worked out for the story, they just went against whatever they were.
Because otherwise, what conflict is there? And like, it'd be a real boring movie. It would. I mean, none of that happened.
But the whole idea was that the movie was, I thought, supposed to be boring because they're all stuck in detention for 9 hours. Like, so it's really, really weird.
So you went into this movie thinking you're going to watch a movie about a bunch of kids just sitting in detention for 9 hours?
Well, I thought they would be. I'm sure they would have gotten into some hijinks, and I'm sure there would have been a lot about them talking a lot. Like maybe more of the discovering that they're all kind of the same, and they have all got their own problems and issues and this and that. But it's just
would have
the
been
fact,
just a straight up drama and not a comedy by any means.
Yeah, it's just the fact that they're very vocal, except for Bender. They're all very vocal about wanting him to shut up and just sit where you're supposed to and do your essay. But then they all just get up and do the opposite. So then when they come back from, okay, this is like kind of horror movie-esque where I think it was when they went to the locker to get the weed. They're all heading back. They're like, no, we got to go this way because he'll see us or whatever. And then they come down a hall to a T and they look and he's there. And then they just quickly go the other direction. And they're running all around and he keeps popping up wherever they're headed. Like whatever direction they're going to go, he's just there. So, and he's just casually walking. So it made me think of horror movies where the killer is like very slowly walking behind the people that are running away. And he's always just that close. So they must have been going in some weird circle.
Yeah, I'd be curious as to see what the layout of the school was.
Yeah, if I was going to try to watch it again. I'm sure there's no way to really track where they were headed, like in the
Probably
school.
Not.
But it would have been funny to make a mock-up like he's like right in the center, and they just keep popping around the same little. Anyway, so then they get back to the library or the library. That's where they're at. And so obviously, dude's gonna go. How was this? I know there's a point where Bender's character gets put in that closet. He's like got pulled out of the library. And he got locked in that like supply closet or whatever.
Okay.
But I'm trying to remember if what I was watching or what I'm thinking of was before or after that. I think it's before that. Anyway, they're back in the library. They've got their weed. Dude's going to get up and go smoke some. And Anthony Michael Hall's character, Brian Johnson. That's his name. Because I know that other guy named Brian Johnson, so it triggered in my memory. He gets up right away.
It triggered me.
he gets up right away like, oh yeah, I'm going to go do this too.
Yeah, I'm big time always smoke weed,
And
guys, right?
Yeah, so it's another thing that goes against character for me because he does not seem like the kind of type of kid that would be like, he's also
But
like,
what's the type of kid that would...
Well, no, but it's another, because he's at the beginning like, guys, I think we should just sit and just write our essays like we're supposed to. Hey, I'm in the physics club, and I'm in this club, and I'm in this nerd club. And then, like, weed comes into the picture. He's like, all right, I'm going to go blaze with this guy.
It's called nerd club.
You're going to get up? Like, I could see...
I think he was trying to... I think he was also trying to seem cool. Like, he wanted to seem cool like the rest of them.
I guess that could be it. But it's just, so many things go against, at least what was initially established as their character.
Right.
Maybe the whole message of the movie is don't judge a book by its cover. Like,
I think it's also it's a bunch of kids that are going through like a kind of a chain, like through a crisis of just growing up and discovering who they are and realizing like, you know, I don't like being put in this bubble that people, you know, I'm not just the prissy pretty one. I'm not the crazy art girl and all that shit. You know, they're trying to like, they're discovering who they are, and I think it's kind of that. It's like I said, it's like a coming of age kind of thing. They're just kind of figuring out who they are, so they're trying to break out of that shell of that they've been pigeonholed into. Yeah, that could be. They're trying to prove they're not how others see them. Yeah, I mean that was part of the message of the letter at the end, which is like it doesn't matter what we think about ourselves. We shouldn't have to write it down on the paper because you're only going to see us the way you see us. So maybe that is what it's about. Now you've cracked it, and that's why they're called the Breakfast Club. Yeah. Breakfast is the meal you discover yourself. Yeah, so the kid gets up. I forget if the artsy girl goes up right away to go with them too. I think she does. But then Emilio Estevez's character is just kind of like struggling with himself, and he eventually gets up frustrated to go join them. Like, oh, I have to go do this. There's no way I can't do this. Like He peer pressured himself. He did. No one was like, come on. No, come along and do this with us. They all just went on their own to go do it. Yeah. And he's like, fine, I'll get up. But then they're all sitting in an area and smoking, and then Emilio Estevez is not with them. He's in a separate room by himself, and all of a sudden he comes out with his own joint, and it's like, where'd you go? How many joints were there? Yeah. Because... yeah, I mean, they must have just rolled some because the bag of weed, it was just a big bag of weed that he first pulled out of his locker. It wasn't like a bunch of joints in a bag or something. But here comes the shattering part. So he smokes a joint, Emilio Estevez's character, and then he immediately starts running and doing some sort of like weird self-made obstacle course through the library, jumping over bookshelves and benches and things like that and pumping himself up because he's the athlete. And then goes behind, he shuts the door that he was behind when he first came out with it, and that's like a glass door, and he like he like goes run, he like yells, and the glass shatters on the door. Oh yeah. I remember that. And that wouldn't cause the guy to come out and be like, what's going on, you know? Yeah, like that's him noticing or caring about any commotion during this detention is completely out the window. Right. So I those two things, the quote at the beginning just breaking and shattering the glass, and then him screaming and breaking the glass on the door, it didn't make any sense to me. Yeah, I think the door breaking thing is probably just like a metaphor for him like breaking like through, like having a breakthrough maybe of himself. I like getting high now. That kind of breakthrough? Or just, no, like, just, I don't know, like, finally, like, letting loose or something, because he's kind of fucking uptight. I guess he was, like, pretty uptight for the rest of I mean, I guess you're right. Maybe that's it. Yeah, he was very uptight at the beginning. And then he kind of, like, I think that's, like, that was his kind of breakthrough point. So I think, the glass shattering is a very in-your-face metaphor of, like, that, probably. Yeah. But then if you're going to have something like that in the movie, when you also have a guy that's like really listening to make sure that there's nothing going on. Right. You can't have both of those unless the glass breaking is going to cause that guy to get up and then cause another conflict with them. Right. And the authority figure. Well, just him screaming in general should have drawn attention. Like, so much stuff they were doing was making so much noise. And the only time he ever got up to check on them making a bunch of noise was when they were just yelling at each other. Right. So, I don't know. He's like, yelling at each other is not acceptable. Yelling by yourself and breaking doors, that's
property.
whatever.
Yeah, fine. I'm okay with that. You're letting off some steam. You're an angsty teen, played by probably a 24-year-old Emilio Estevez.
Oh, they were all in their 20s. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. One thing I thought was interesting was I think that Molly Ringwald, I'm not sure which movie was John Hughes' first movie or which was his first movie featuring Molly Ringwald. I don't know if the Breakfast Club was first or if it was like 16 Candles or something.
Right.
But I always thought that Molly Ringwald was like cast because she just seemed relatable.
Right.
But then in this movie, she's like the stuck-up rich prissy girl, which isn't relatable.
Right.
I don't know.
It's relatable to some people.
To rich prissy, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
This one part was interesting. They're all running through the school to try to get back to the library without getting caught.
Right.
And they're all running toward this obviously locked gate. And they run right up to it. And Bender's character
and they're like, oh no,
runs up and grabs it. And then he's like, that's when they kind of realize there's a gate there. But they all just ran directly to it. They're watching it. The guy in the front even knew, I'm going to put my hands up and grab the bars of this gate. And then they're like, oh, we can't get through.
I mean, I think you need to be more sensitive because gate blindness is a very serious, it's a very, very serious condition that at least 5 high school students suffer from.
Like 5 out of every
out of
so many
everyone in the world.
5 high school students. I think Nixon had gate blindness.
It was a different kind of gate.
Oh, I see. So I thought that was odd that they. What were they going to expect? The gate it'd be
different if the gate was like closing as they were running up to it.
Yeah, no, but it was completely close. And I don't know how many gates you ever walk up to like that are not locked. They're closed. Like, I'm going to close it, but I'm not going to lock it. No, they're going to believe it's closed or locked because it's closed.
Right.
Why would they? I'm not going to go through the trouble of locking my gate. So that was funny. Maybe the gate's another metaphor, Matt, for how they're trapped in their miserable lives and they can't wait to get out of high school and become free.
It could be.
Yeah, everything's a metaphor. Everything I have a problem with in this movie is a meaningful, deep metaphor.
Possibly.
That's the conclusion we're coming to here.
Yeah.
So at one point, Bender, in order to distract and let the other students get back into the library without getting caught, he decides to make a bunch of noise and yell and hit lockers, and he ends up in the gym with a basketball and he starts shooting hoops or whatever.
Yeah.
And for some reason, he decided to remove one of his boots and put on a white shoe to do this. And I don't know where he got the shoe, and I don't know why he decided to wear just one white shoe, but they didn't show where he got the shoe. They didn't show him put the shoe back. The shoe was never seen again. In this particular scene, for some reason, instead of wearing his 2 boots, he's wearing one boot and one white shoe. And I have no idea what that's about.
I wonder if there's a deleted scene somewhere.
There could be.
Just him. It's just a scene of him putting a shoe on.
Yeah.
They're just like, this doesn't seem necessary. We'll cut this. This movie's getting too long.
Yeah. This movie, with a bunch of kids in detention, it's too long. So the principal, dean, superintendent, whatever his name is, guy, at some point he locks Bender. This might have been after the basketball thing. He locks Bender in that supply closet, and he's in there with him for a bit, and he's basically warning him, saying like, he basically says like,
fuck you.
Well, no. But he's basically saying like he wants to hit him, but he's not going to throw his life and career away over this kid. Like, you're not worth it. So I'm not gonna throw my career away for you. Like, I'm not gonna actually hit you even though I want to.
I'll just threaten you.
But then he immediately tries to pick a fight with him and tells him to hit him.
Right. Well, because if he throws the first punch.
Yeah, but who's going to be in there to know? He even says like, no one will believe me over you. You lie all the time. Who would believe you? No, everyone loves me. Everyone's going to believe me. So even if he did throw the first punch, his argument is that no one would believe Bender that he didn't throw the first punch and the superintendent guy did. So I don't get. There's a lot of these things that don't make sense to me.
So him telling him to hit him is a metaphor
of how he should hit the power to make change, to make the world a better place for the next generation.
It's about fighting the man. Anyway.
Oh, Bender said with. Oh, here's. I don't remember why this was said, but somebody made a comment about lamps.
Uh-huh.
And then Bender said, without lamps, there'd be no light. And I wonder if he's ever heard of the sun.
Right.
He's like, without lamps, there'd be no light. See, this is why I think my notes are too sporadic and not cohesive, because I should have like typed out what the conversation was where he said that. But now I'm just like, I have a random note that made sense to me when I watched it. But now I'm like, why did he say something about lamps? It's a weird line, and I got the weird line down, but I don't know why they're talking about lamps.
Well, hey.
Is this fun for anyone?
Without lamps, there wouldn't be any light, Sean. So,
and that's
it's
a
also
metaphor. The metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
For, we as humans wouldn't be where we are without invention.
Technology.
Yeah. What?
It's never good when you question
Oh,
yourself.
no. Okay, I can tell the typo. So there's obviously one of the big mystery of the movie is what they all did to get there.
Right.
Anthony Michael Hall's character, Brian Johnson. I'm gonna keep remembering his character's name as I say his real name.
Right.
So it'll be fun. His deal was he didn't do well on a test or something. Like he got a bad grade. Right. That's not why he's in detention, but he is under such extreme pressure from his parents to be perfect that he was essentially going to kill himself. So he brought a gun to school, and that's why he's in detention. And my thought was all he got was a day of detention on a Saturday because he brought a gun to school.
I thought it was a much different time. I don't think school shootings were quite the thing they are nowadays. Not as big of a fad as they were back in 85, you say?
85. 85. Probably shot in 84, but what I don't
say shot.
Oh, sorry. Nice. But even I didn't even know if I didn't even think about that angle, the school shooting angle. I just thought someone bringing a gun into a school. No matter like minimum, like so many days of
expulsion.
Expulsion probably, but at minimum some like suspension of like a week or something.
Yeah, not come back to school.
Come back to school the next on a Saturday, where there's less people to witness what you might do.
Yeah. Also, if you plan on committing suicide because of the pressure, like why would you better go to school first to do it?
I don't know.
Unless he was gonna do it in the school to set some sort of to make some sort of statement.
Well, that's probably it. It's probably something like now everyone will see my pain or something. Because I bet you if someone feels like they're invisible. They'd be like, this is now they're going to see me type of a thing.
I suppose, the song Jeremy is about a kid who literally brought a gun to school and killed himself in front of his classroom. So,
yeah. So I don't know why you asked that question to begin with.
I thought about it afterwards. I'm like, oh yeah, the song Jeremy is about a kid that literally did that. True story.
Yeah.
Not a John Hughes film.
Not a John Hughes film. Maybe it would have been had he, lived longer.
Maybe that's where he got it from. Nope. Cause the song came later. The movie was a thing before the song came out.
Maybe that's where the kid got it.
The kid that did it? Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
The Jeremy, as it were.
Jeremy is a huge John Hughes fan, or was.
Yeah.
Was. Then we have, your mandatory 80s dance montage.
Mm-hmm.
Which again,
it's either a dance montage or like a training montage.
Training. I'm getting myself ready for the big match. The big fight match. So I thought about this for a second. First of all, it's another scenario where whatever they're doing doesn't matter anymore. They're up, they're playing music, they're dancing around, it doesn't matter. But the montage obviously shows various clips of either people dancing alone, doing weird dances, or doing a little bit of choreographed dancing with there's one point where the two girls are dancing a certain way. There's one point where, oddly, the three guys are standing single file very close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing some sort of weird fist pump dance.
Yep.
And I thought for those moments in the movie, these are presented as though they're just part of the dancing that they're doing.
Right.
But in reality, one of them has to go, okay, guys, how about the three of us go on top of this thing and then we all stand in single file and then we do this move. And then one goes, wait, how do you do the move? Oh, well, hold on. Let me show you. And we do the move. Okay, you got it? Oh,
is it left arm first or?
Left arm first. Now, let's do a practice run. Okay. Oh, hold on. You stepped too quickly. You stepped on the back of my shoe. Gave me a flat tire. And then let's try it again.
We're going to go forward 3 steps.
Back from the top. And they have to practice it. And then they're like, okay, ready? We got it. Go. And then either the song they're listening to is over and they have to start over. Here, play again. And then they do it. I'm like, no one's gonna do this.
And it wasn't a CD either, so they had to rewind the tape.
They had to rewind the tape. So I'm like, nobody would do this.
And it was a song that was in the middle of a tape, so then they would rewind it too far, and then
they went too far. They caught themselves in the middle of another song. They just the same beat. It won't work with the song.
Yeah, it's a different tempo, and
I just thought about like the discussion and the practice and the rehearsing that would have to go before they do these choreographed dances in these montages.
It's one of those things.
It appears they're like, yeah, this is just part of them having fun.
Yeah, it's just
this spontaneously happens.
It's a similar thing because I mean that's obviously just a fucking movie trope. But
big time.
My favorite movie trope is always like when there's a scene and somebody like maybe like say they like discover somebody about another character and they're in the scene with, and then all of a sudden it cuts to them like driving down the road, and then now they're having the conversation about it. Like, what did you mean by that back there? It's like you waited. Like, you had to have walked from your position to a car, then start driving down the road, and you're just now starting the conversation about the thing that happened.
Well, I bet you
that's always a thing that I always catch in a movie. I'm just like, it's not how conversations work.
I bet you the person asks about it. They're like, we'll talk about it in the car, like over and over again.
Right, but then put that in the end of that scene.
Yeah.
Like, look,
no,
we need, if we ever make a movie, we have to put that kind of a scene in there. Where literally something weird happens and they're like, what's that all about? We'll talk about it when we're partway down or like halfway home.
Yeah, yeah.
and then you cut to the car. We're like, all right, what was that all about now? Because then it's like, all right, we got through this weird thing that is unexplained.
Or they don't talk about it in the car, and then when they're walking back into the house or something, they remember like, oh, we were supposed to talk about this thing.
We were supposed to talk about that thing.
Can we talk about it now?
There's just an in-between scene of them sitting quietly in the car.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Gosh.
And then they just arrive home.
Yeah.
Oh. The conversation.
Oh, we gotta go back. Like
grab your
it's
keys.
almost like they treat it in the same way as though they forgot something at the store.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot this. We gotta go back. So
Like,
they have to have this conversation in the car.
Yeah, and then later another similar kind of thing happens. Or like the guy again is just like, what the hell is that all about? He's like, we have these discussions in the car. And they and they exit stage left or whatever.
Because this was happening when they were rehearsing a play.
Well, it's just it's a common phrase.
Oh. All right,
it's
it's a deep metaphor for what they're going through. We're gonna get to. I misread what was happening here, and that's why I made this note, because their assignments that they were given at the beginning was they all had to write 1,000-word essay describing who they are. Right. So at first, when they convince Brian Johnson, played by Anthony Michael Hall,
you still say his name anyway.
Yeah.
NH.
They basically convince him to write a paper for them all, like the one paper that for all the group. Right. But I thought he was going to essentially write 5,000-word essays.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
And I thought it was amazing that they actually made him feel like it was a special privilege to be able to do that, because because Molly Ringwald's character is like, oh no, you should write ours for us. Like, we trust you. And he like felt very special about that and very proud. You're right. Like, what an honor. I get to write 5,000-word papers. Thank you for allowing me to do this for you. He
slowly puts a gun in his mouth.
I know. The gun,
He brought it again.
To
learn his
detention.
lesson. That makes the whole thing with his mom at the beginning even weirder. Like, she's scolding him. Like, at that point should be more concerned, like, about his well-being.
Yeah, because anything could push him over the edge at this point. He's
Is
already
this your
ready.
First time or your last time or whatever. And it's just
you're going to commit suicide.
I could be dead right now, Mom.
Yeah.
It could be my no time because I wouldn't be here. But you're okay. This is what you're worried about. I already know what you're writing down.
I can't write fast enough. Anyway. And then it was bizarre that when he was done writing the paper, he kissed it. I don't know why he kissed it.
I forgot that happened, and I was about to be like, he kissed it, just as a joke.
Did. No, he looked at it and he's like, maybe it's
this
like
is
my best work.
Yeah.
This is my Hamlet.
Screw Nerd Club. This is the best thing I've ever done.
But one
This
thing
is my Hamlet.
What? You got a better Shakespeare play?
No, I would have said like this is my Sistine Chapel or something. But
Well, that's
is
not-
Hamlet his masterpiece?
No, I don't know, but it's weird that you went for something that isn't a work of writing to compare it to.
I just went with a work of art.
Okay. Like I'm going to compare I'm not going to compare this writing
I mean,
to
I'm not going to say you don't have a good point.
So he kissed the paper. And then, of course, the end of the movie is the voiceover of Brian Johnson reading what was written on the paper.
Yeah, the essay.
Clearly, even though he's writing one quote-unquote essay that's to represent the whole group,
right?
That is not even close to 1,000 words.
I was about to say, is it 1,000? Like,
oh, yeah.
No. I'd be curious to like get like a transcript of it and throw it into a Word program and just do a word count on it.
Yeah. But it's essentially like
300 words.
So and so. We are supposed to. What is it? I think it's silly that you want us to write 1,000-word essay on who we are when it doesn't matter who we are. You're going to see us however you see us. Blah 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 blah.
Maybe that was the point because he's right at the beginning. He's like, I think it's silly that you want us to write 1,000 words. So he just doesn't even make an attempt to write 1,000 words.
That's a good point.
He got the point across in less than 1,000.
Yeah,
words.
It was a metaphor.
What a fucking like what a strict like thing to put on it. Write 1,000 words about yourself. I couldn't write 1,000 words about myself. I'm 40 fucking years old. They're supposed to be teenagers.
I know. He even says, and that doesn't. He says it's got to be an actual essay. Don't write like one word 1,000 times. You know,
right?
You could do that.
Well, describe yourself one word 1,000 times. Like, what one word would you use to describe yourself, or to
I could just say like you could just,
wonderful. You
know, maybe not one word, but I was thinking you could put like I'm great or I'm bored and just write that over and over and over again. So then the whole signing off with the Breakfast Club, I put, why are they called the Breakfast Club? The only meal they ate was lunch, and they never established themselves as the Breakfast Club during the whole movie. The only time you ever hear the words Breakfast Club are in the letter. So I don't know if he got there like. Sure, go ahead. I'll agree. But it seemed like they all left before he.
Yeah.
They seemed like they all kind of left him alone.
They're like, peace out, bro.
Yeah. Write a letter for us. We're done.
Yeah. Bye.
And they had these weird end moments where, well, Molly Ringwald's character and the guy Bender, she kind of turned around and got very attracted to him very quickly.
Yeah.
And then they sort of
the bad boy.
Yeah. Then they sort of hooked up in that closet or whatever. So them at the end being like kissing and stuff, I wasn't surprised by. But the out of nowhere, because at one point Molly Ringwald's character is like putting makeup on the other girl, and she's like moving the hair out of her face and like putting her in good clothes, which I don't know where they got a change of outfit for her now that I think about it.
It was probably in Molly Ringwald's locker or something.
Well, that might have been maybe just what she had on underneath her jacket or something. But she comes out and all of a sudden she looks pretty. And so Emilio Estevez is like, hey. She's like, oh, do you like it?
Want to wrestle?
He's like, you look so different. Oh, is it good or bad? It's good. And then they out of nowhere like decide to like get together. So there had to be these
poor Brian Johnson.
Poor Brian Johnson.
All he's got is his gun.
He's got
It's the only thing he gets to make out with.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yes. I mean, we did find out that he is a virgin in the movie. So.
There's not an end credit scene so much as just an end credit noise.
I know, a sound effect. Yeah. Sign the Breakfast Club. Bang.
Just a very distant, muffled bang.
Yeah. But the last shot, they're showing them kind of going their separate ways and being whatever. They're all getting picked. They're all getting as they're reading it, as the letter's being read. They're all showing them getting picked up by their parents, except for the Bender guy.
Yeah,
he's just walking across the football field. And I know it's the '80s, and I know they want to. It's like it seemed like '80s were all about trying to make some sort of like iconic movie moments, right? So the guy just is walking along the football field. Then when he gets really close to the camera, he just goes like this.
Yep.
And he puts his fist up in the air. And then, of course, it freezes on him.
And now you know where the idea for our logo came from.
Are you serious?
Sean just making a realization just now.
No. I did not.
Yeah, that's... You've never thought about where Mikey came up with the idea for our logo?
No, but also
guaranteed. I never asked him, but guaranteed it's from the Breakfast Club.
No, but that also wasn't me like making a realization. You told me straight out that's
just
what
well,
it
I
was
mean,
from.
that's Sean coming. Yeah, that's Sean's brain firing and realizing.
maybe me finding out. No, I had no idea.
Yeah. Look at our logo
I'm
and then
looking
think
at it
about
right
that
now.
image. It's
It makes me
you're like, God damn it.
it makes me not like our logo anymore. Especially also because we can't seem to get a hold of a full body drawing of the guy, and we only get the version where his legs are cut off.
Well, keep working on that.
Yeah.
I know you've messaged him several times about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He said
Mikey,
he was
if you're listening to this now,
actually, you know what? He's actually done for the day, but do you know what Mike's doing this weekend?
yeah, he's at
Twin
what is
Cities
it called?
Con.
G12 or whatever it's called.
Twin Cities Con?
Well, it's
Is it
or,
called
is
G12?
G12 his booth? I don't know. He put some,
Oh,
he
that's his
posted
booth.
something up.
That's
Okay.
like his table number or whatever.
So he's technically at G12 at the con.
Yeah, but I think that was done at 7.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah, I might be there. I might go there on Sunday. He said he had an extra
Go
pass.
chill with him again like you did
Maybe not
last year or whatever.
Maybe not. Well, that was at some
That's-
tattoo convention he was actually
Oh,
at.
right.
So, but yeah, who knows? I don't know. I might go and kind of putz around with him for a bit. The most notable people that will be there are Phil Lamar.
Okay.
Do you know who he is?
I thought you said Bill for a second.
Phil.
So it took me a second to realize it was Phil. But yeah.
And then Frodo and Sam themselves, Elijah Wood and Sean
Oh.
Astin are at Twin Cities Con as well.
Nice.
And Mike had actually said, "Oh, mate, you should come and try to get interviews." And I'm like, I don't think they would let me bring stuff in. Like, they probably
Right.
wouldn't let me bring in my mic and all that crap.
Well, you could record something on your phone.
I could, but it'd be low quality. But then I looked
Yeah,
up.
but who cares?
He's like, maybe you can buy a meet and greet or something with somebody. And I looked up, and everything they have prices for is either autograph, selfie, or like photo op, or autograph and selfie. So it doesn't seem to be any sort of like sit down and chat.
Yeah.
It's more like get a picture with them or get their autograph.
But can you just quickly say, I love High School Famous?
I wouldn't want to do that. That'd be lame. I mean, it'd be cool to have a clip to use, but
Yeah.
I wanted to ask Elijah Wood how he got his pivotal role in Back to the Future 2.
Oh, yeah.
And then I wanted to say to Sean Astin that often art imitates life. So how many resurrected cave people attended your high school?
Nice.
So, but I doubt I will have the opportunity to ask them those questions
Yeah.
and also record.
You'd be able
myself.
to, like, I was gonna say, if you went through like a signing
line.
thing, you'd be able to just throw it out there quick
Yeah.
and just have your phone like already recording in your pocket.
Yeah, I think if I was I would probably ask. I'd be, hey, can I record asking you a question? I wouldn't try to sneak it
Right.
because I
Can I have
wouldn't
your
want to.
consent?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to like have it where it's like I got caught and I have to like delete it or something. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So I'd want to be like,
I think
hey,
it'd be funny to just say, "Can I have your consent?" with no
Yeah.
context.
right, yeah. But I secretly record myself asking him that.
Yeah.
And then I get in trouble.
Yeah.
And I blow my brains out
With your, I was trying. Yeah. No.
with my deep metaphor.
Okay.
So that's what I've got on Breakfast Club.
Oh yeah, Breakfast Club.
Yeah. The movie that features no breakfast food and only the mere mention of other clubs.
I was saying, and nobody got clubbed.
Nobody got clubbed. There were just some mentions of things like Physics Club.
What were they eating for lunch? They brought their own lunches.
Yes.
Was anybody eating a sandwich?
Yes, actually, Emilio Estevez's character he's a wrestler, so he had a pretty big brown bag, and he pulled out, I want to say, like 4 sandwiches, and he pulled out an apple and a banana and like a bunch of chips or something. There was like a big pile of food.
If one of those sandwiches was a club sandwich.
It might have been an open-faced club sandwich.
But it was made with breakfast ingredients.
Oh, I see.
Therefore, making it
a breakfast
club. Mic drop.
It's still suspended in the air.
Yeah, I'm not going to actually. Yeah, well, it was a little bit more expensive than something that I'd want to drop. So
It's a metaphor.
everything's a metaphor.
It's a metaphorical mic drop.
Well,
That was really loud.
That one, yeah, I'll admit that one was loud.
Yep.
See you next Tuesday, or... No, we still going?
I mean, I guess I don't know the real length of this because we had to stop and start over, but yeah, we will see you next Tuesday. Breakfast Club.
Next Tuesday.
Hey, all you Breakfast Club members. See you next Tuesday, Breakfast Clubbers.
Bye.
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 Breakfast Club.
Bye.
Sandwiches.
No. Bye.
Breakfast Sandwich Club. Club Sandwich. Breakfast Sandwich Club. Enjoy your meats, bacon, sausage, sandwich, egg and cheese, sandwich, English muffin, croissant, donut, bagel, club, which, one wood,
Yep.
9 iron, club, sand wedge, club, breakfast, Emilio Estevez, Michael, Anthony Hall, names reversed, Anthony Michael Hall, Brian Johnson character, Tuesday.
Bye.
So long.
God damn you.
Goodbye.
If you have a question, complaint, or threat for Sean or Matt, you can reach us on TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at hsfamouspod, or you can email the show at highschoolfamous@gmail.com. No animals were pleasured during the making of this podcast, despite our best efforts. All hail our Lord and Savior, Greg Proops.